Hi developer. So till now we learned that how to add items in cart without user login, and now we will learn that how to add items in cart with user login. So first thing is that what is the difference in both cases? So let's understand it first, right? So see guys, whenever we are just trying to add item without user login, that time we will use local storage to make our cart. Here you can see that we have 4 items in cart, number are displaying there, and these are the 4 items 0, 1, 2, 3 and all, right? You can ask a question there like why we are not saving this data in database through API, why we are using local storage, because till now we are not aware like which user we're gonna log in there. You can see that, for example, currently we have 4 items in cart, and if I just want to log in there, I can logged in with any user. I can log in with any user, like with Anil, with Peter, with Bruce, with any user. So system don't know that for which user I need to just put all these data in database, right? And that's why we just put all data in local storage, and once user is logged in, then we will push it to the database through API. And now the second question is how we can just add items to cart with user login. That time we know that which user is logged in, we have user ID and all, so we can directly push this data to the database with API. We will not use local storage, right? So in this part we will just use API to make a cart for user, and let's check out the steps for this video. So first of all, we will check that user is logged in or not, and we will get the user ID so that we can just put the user details also with cart, so that we will just get to know which user just made that cart, right? And after that we will make complete cart object. In this cart object we have user ID, product ID, and all other details of product also, like quantity and color and everything. After that we will make a service function to call API, and we will make a API object also there, right? So you know that we are using JSON server for just APIs, for fake APIs, and we have to just make create a object, array of object to just make a API, like users for user APIs and product for product APIs and all. And now with the same way we will make one more object with the name of cart, so that we can store all cart data there. And after that we will call this API and we will check everything is working fine or not. All right, and keep in mind guys, we will not play with this local storage data in that video. We will just store this local storage data in a database in next part, and we will just remove from there after user login, right? So let's say a user just is not logged in, he just keeps some data in local storage. Once user will log in, then we will push all of these data, local storage data, in APIs once user will log in, right? But that we will do in next part, otherwise that video will gonna very long, and maybe it will be a bit confusing. So that's why I'm just want to make it very simple, and I'll just add to cart only on the button click on add to cart, right? So now just go with the first step, and let me just log in with the user, and user ID is ABC123, and if I'm just clicking over there, you can see that user is logged in, and we have this user details are there. So we will get this user detail from their name and all once we will need it. All right. Okay, so the next thing is I'm just opening their product detail.ts file, right? So let me show you why I'm just open this. So let's say you just want to add this Samsung mobile and in a cart. So from where we will add from a product detail page. This is our product detail page, right? So once we will just click on add to cart, this function will call, right? We know that we just made it in last part. So the thing is, here we will put a else condition. If user is not logged in, that if condition will called. If user is logged in, then else condition is called. Here you can check with the local storage condition, right? So what I'm just going to do, I just want to go step by step, and I just putting there user is logged in, and if I just click over there, you will find that the new user is a new product, cart product is not storing in local storage. There will be only a console. So if I just click add to cart, user is logged in there. So we just got it in the else condition. So this part will not gonna work if user is logged in. So now the next thing is we have to just get the local storage data so that we can use user ID, right? So what I'm going to do there, I'm just taking a variable with the name of user, and it will be, let's say, local storage dot get item, and we can simply put there user, right? After that we will just make user ID there, and let me just make it literal, and we can use, if user is not null, then we can just simply just convert this string data in the object dot parse, and let's put there user, right? And after that you can check, are we getting user ID there? All right, that is user ID. Let me just show you the user ID in local storage first, so that you can confirm it. Like, we have user ID with the 1. So if I am just clicking on add to cart, you can see that we got the user details there, and this is our user ID also, right? So now we can just simply put there dot ID, and in user ID we have only user ID, not other name and email ID, other details, right? Let me just click it again. Here you can see that. All right, so next thing is we need to create a object for cart data. So let me just put there cart data, and in this cart data we have the user ID and all product details like product ID and quantity and all. So what I'm going to do there, first of all, I'm just putting interface for the same. Let's say export interface cart, and here we can put all of these details like this, and after that we have a product ID, and that could be number, and user ID, and that will be again number. And one more thing, there is a ID for cart, right? But that we will get only once we will just made an entry in our DB, right? So by default it could be undefined also if we just did not enter the data in local storage till now, right? So now I'm just putting a type of it is cart. Let me just import it from data type, and now what we can do there, so first of all I can just spread that what we call it product details like this, right there. Okay, and after that the next thing is we can just put their user ID there. Even you can use user ID like this also, but shorthand way is we don't need to just put their user ID colon user ID, so we can just put simply like this. Okay, so after that what we can do there, yeah guys, one more thing, let's just console and check what we are just getting in cart data. Cart data. Okay, so here you can see that product ID is missing from there, right? Because we don't have product ID there. So what I can do there to just add a product ID, just add one more key here, product ID, and we will get it from this dot product data dot ID. Yeah, and at last we need a comma. Okay, so now once we will just try to make it console, and I'll just click on add to cart, you can see that we actually got product ID and ID both are same, right? So if I'm just increasing it, so you can see that quantity is also changing, but product ID and ID are both same. So we don't need this ID for a moment, because this is a cart ID and that will be automatically generated when we will hit API, right, by JSON server. So what I'm going to do there, I am just simply using their cart data dot ID, and we will remove it. And how we can remove? We can just simply put their delete operator, right? And now if you will check there, you will find that we don't have any directly ID there. If I'm just clicking over there, we don't have ID. We have product ID and everything. All right. So next thing that we need to do there, we don't need these consoles. So I'm just removing all of these console, one and this one and this one. And now let's open a product service, and let's just make a function. Let's say add to cart, and here we can just get a cart data, and the type of this cart data is cart. You know that we defined it inside the data type, right? So to just save the time, we are just copying this return line there from here, and for data I am just replacing with the cart data. And now we have to just change the API path also, so that I am just making there a cart array there, right? And object will be automatically created inside it. So let's just replace it with the cart, and let's call this function there now. So what I'm going to do there, this dot product, this is our service name, dot add to cart, and we can pass here cart data dot subscribe, and we will get some data inside the subscribe in a calls parameter of callback function. And after that, if there is data is not undefined, if there is no error, we can make alert there, right? Alert is like product is added in cart. And in next part I will just make it complete, like if you will just click over there, the item will be increased on header part, and there we will replace it with the remove to cart and all. But for this part we will not going to do that. So now let's check. So if I'm just clicking over add to cart, you can see that product is added in cart. That means everything is working fine. Even we can check it with the network request. Again, this is working fine, right? And we get the response like ID is automatic. If you just want to see the payload, we don't have any ID, right? But as we know, JSON server automatically create the ID, and now you can see that we got the product ID there. And now you can check it with the db.json file also. All right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm trying to add any another product, right? So let's say I just want to add this iPhone. Quantity is, let's say 6, 7, whatever. And if I'm just clicking over there, you can see that one more item is added with the product ID 2 and quantity 7, and here are the same details, right? And you can see that product ID is automatically increasing. All right. So in next part we will handle this cart data which is in the local storage, and we will just replace it with the remove to cart that button, as well as we will just once we will just click on add to cart, the item will be increased there also, right? So that's all for this part. If you have any query, question, you can ask me in the comment box. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video.